What is up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate business into a life of freedom. We have a great show for you today. We're cutting loose a little bit and talking about a few things and taking live questions, as well as some questions from the Facebook groups that we are in. And we're going to talk a little bit about, it's a, I guess, buyer lead follow-up in this particular case, Greg. So we're going to talk a little bit about the system that you're playing around with and seeing some success with. We've got some questions here about the Mojo triple line dialer that you use, which everybody sees you use on your calling sessions 4 or 5 days a week. We've got a question here about door knocking, and I'm sure we'll get to some other fun stuff. So as always, the Junior Grandmaster is in the co-pilot seat where he so belongs. Sadly, you will be out of the box and very much in my face here in just a couple of weeks. Greg McDaniel. Greg, what's up today?
Oh, Johnson, it's always a pleasure to be insulted by a friend, because I know you don't mean any of it, but yet no one else does. But, you know, dude, I am up and rolling. Yeah, the system that we're going to talk about, Agent Legend, today is something I started yesterday, and it all has to do with doing follow-up and not having things fall between the cracks and losing clients and allowing a system. Yes, Matt, I did say system without breaking out in hives. And what it's doing for me, I'll share that. But I got to tell you one thing, dude. I got to tell you one thing. Working from home with EXP has got to be the biggest blessing of my freaking life. I roll out of bed, right? And I was feeling a little sick yesterday afternoon, so I didn't push it. I didn't get up early and go to the gym. I wanted to rest because you and I are traveling for the next 2 weeks. We're in Vegas for the investors meeting starting next week, shareholders meeting. And then you and I are in Omaha with Jeff Cohn at his big event speaking. So I took it easy, and so then what I did is I took my coaching client Ryan with me in my earbuds. We walked to Starbucks, and I got in my morning exercise. Well, I walked 3 miles to get Starbucks, Matt. Have you ever walked 3 miles? I don't think you have. I have dedication.
I was gonna say, of all the people that you'd think would walk 3 miles to get Starbucks, it'd be me. Except that I wouldn't do that. I would just take an Uber.
You lazy SOB. I'm just going to take Uber. It's way easier on my shins. Right. But yeah, no, I walked down there and I got some exercise, and that's the beauty of working with EXP, man. Dude, it's just awesome the way that, we're able to just work total freedom, autonomy beyond belief. And that's why I have such a hard-on for this company. I mean, I honestly think that this is the way it's going to go. And, unfortunately, Jason Gessing's our guest today, the CEO. He has a stomach flu. So we're going to do a live show with him in Vegas, guys. We're seeing if we can do a live show in front of people. So if we can because we did that in Australia. We did with Glenn on the stage. And we had guests come in and do a live audience. It was a lot of fun. So if you guys are EXP or you guys are planning to attend the shareholders meeting in Vegas, let us know in the comments if you guys would like to see us do a live show. And when you grimace like that, Matt, I know there's something that you will want to laugh at, but you're waiting for me to stop talking. So what is it?
Well, I'm keeping my eye on the comments, and guys, we've got a bunch of great people watching. Jason Neely, what's up? Paul Franklin, as always. Josh Bryan, Josh Hartwig, good Lord, Darren James, Wyatt, what is going on? All the people that we love, we appreciate you guys tuning in. And so Paul Franklin says, and this is in reference, Greg, to what you're talking about with working from home, right? Easy to say when you when you aren't a breeder, and that is his words, not mine. Working from home with my 3 soul-sucking gingers is the worst part of moving to EXP for me. maybe we could give some working at home tips for Paul from 2 single bachelors. But yes. we'll do the best that we can. But guys,
let me
introduce, thank you for watching.
Example A, it is called ear muffs. Apply them. Soul-sucking gingers cannot get in your way now. See?
That's right. If you combine that with a sleep mask, you've got a mobile sensory deprivation chamber, and it'll be like you don't have any kids.
You know what else you need, Matt?
Number of kids.
You need one of those tennis ball throwers. Just have it at your desk, pointing the opposite direction. So when your kids want to play catch, just boom, boom, ball shoots out backwards. And then they take off running like a greyhound after the ball. And you're like, they come back panting, like boom, and they shoot out back again.
Well, I think it'd be great just to have one of those tennis ball, like one of the tennis ball loaders that they use to actually throw them at tennis players, but just load them up with like stuffed animals. Just thunk, 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 just fire stuffed animals all over the house. All right, guys. So let's take a couple of questions here and get into some valuable content before Greg and I just BS for the next hour. This question is from Joseph Carrier. It's from the Lead Gen Scripts and Objections Facebook group. And guys, if you have live questions, put them right here in the Facebook comments. We'd love to cover them. Greg, this caught my eye because he says, hey, everyone, is anyone having success using Mojo triple line dialer who uses it on a regular basis, at least an hour a day? He's on the fence on whether to start on it or not and could use some advice. So, Greg, obviously, that's you. So what advice would you give to someone who is thinking about jumping in, and what are some of the common mistakes you see with people that just get started on the phones, especially with a system like Mojo?
The biggest mistake that when you guys are going to start in and start doing calls is the fact that you don't take it seriously and you don't actually do it on a consistent basis. You get shelf assurance. Instead of self-assurance, it's shelf assurance because it's on the shelf. You already purchased it. You feel good that you own it. But in reality, it does nothing for you. I was talking to an individual, who was that, a couple of days ago, and they were saying like, yeah, I have all these tools and all, but it's not working. And you know who this is, and I'm not going to call you out because I'm not type of nice guy, but you know who you are. And I said, well, when's the last time you used it? And the person was like, last month. I'm like, I found the problem. I found the problem. So the thing is, guys, when it comes to this, sit your butt down, make sure you have a schedule, and then plan it out, because this is like a future listing appointment. This is something that you need to do on a consistent basis. And then it's what people are always like, well, I don't know the numbers. Well, go in and for $300 a year, buy the neighborhood data, do the calls. Go in and call around just listed, just sold, just pendings, or new listings, whatever it is. You can just call with good news or a success story of some point. You can go into your MLS, go look at your solds or go look at your pendings, pull up either one of them. I like to do pendings because it's real actionable information. It's not that's past tense. It's like they've seen it forever. The pending is something new. Like they see the for sale sign, they might not have seen the pending sign yet. So you can be the bearer of good news and say, hey, Matt, Julie, your 3 little wood denting, insulin sucking little baby trolls. Oh, that list gets so much longer every time I do it. And so you call, hey, look, I just want to let you know some good news. A neighbor around the corner just went pending. They were on the market for it shows 1 day. I know they probably got multiple offers. Have you ever thought about making a move yourself? Because we've got buyers that are stalking you like a piranha in a lake in South Africa. And they then obviously joke around with it and have fun with it, but you just make sure you do at least an hour a day. Like yesterday, if any of you guys watch me do my calls, I got my ass handed to me yesterday. I don't know if everybody got peed in their cereal or what happened yesterday, but I got just beat up. But I did get one solid follow-up. The guy's going to be doing something either at the end of this year or potentially next year. So I send a send out card to him, and then I put him into a follow-up situation. And what people don't do is they don't go up and take advantage of the top bar in Mojo, where you can do a follow-up. There's a task. There's a couple of different options that then they'll put it in the calendar. Then you go into your calendar button up on top, and every day it'll show a little green dot, and that will let you know that there's something to do that day to do a follow-up. You can port them over to Top Producer. You can port them over to almost any other CRM system that you're using, so that you can put them into drip campaigns. I mean, you can do so much with it, but people don't take advantage of it. For me, when I started using it, I didn't use it because the team was paying for it. Once I made the decision to use it myself, I had the team stop paying. I started paying, and ever since then, I have sat down and I've never missed a day of doing my calls. No matter if I got my ass kicked or what happened, but I made my calls every single day. So those are a few of the things that I'm seeing why people aren't doing them. But I mean, I was talking to Ryan, one of my coaching clients, this morning, and he fought me on using the triple line. He's like, I don't know, man. It seems super difficult. I don't know if I like it. I'm like, Ryan, I'm going to fucking browbeat your ass. Just start using the fucking thing. And so he started using it. He hits me up now. He's like, dude, this thing is so easy, man. Like, I just load people in, and it just rolls and dials. I can call all 3 people in like 15 minutes. It's awesome. It's way cool. So, yeah, I mean, it's just sit down and do it. I guess that's the really short answer. Like a 10-minute diatribe of it could just been like, just sit down and use it. There we go.
That is true. And we've got a couple of things to help people out with that too, by the way. So you broke this whole thing down in Rockstar Prospecting, which you can get that. So rockstarprospecting.com. You broke down your whole cold to warm to hot kind of lead generation farming system in the farming training. That's at farmlikegreg.com. So Yeah, so basically you've covered those and go in depth from a different angle in each of those two trainings. Rob has a question though, where he says, "Are you calling on home value leads, and do you see more people who are just curious? Have you noticed an uptick in the just people reach out, you get a hold of them, they're calling, they've come through like some sort of home value funnel, or maybe you're calling to follow up on your core fact mailers or something where that they actually are interested in the home value, and then when you get a hold of them, they claim they're just curious."
What we're doing is that I'm implementing a new system. I'm using a new system called Agent Legend. And Agent Legend is, again, Matt and I get no pay. We don't get paid for mentioning these guys. I got to make this very clear with everyone. But Agent Legend is a system that, guys, it's built for real estate agents, and this is why. They have big buttons and colors. It's really simple. Not even I can fuck it up.
Right, I'm going to need you to repeat
that. Big buttons and colors, not even I can fuck it up. Yes, I said that. But the thing is that, like, I record a voice message and a text message in my own voice, and then they send emails, and they do a sequential order on follow-ups. And, dude, okay, so check this out. I launched it yesterday. And so as of this recording, we're at 3/28 of 2018. I have 59 prospects in there. 57 have been contacted. 8 have been responded to me. That's a 14% response rate in less than 24 hours and on the first day, okay? The thing I like about this is so much is the fact that these people are not only responding to me, they're responding to me via text message. So I will get text responses, and it'll say, what the text I sent to them, and then what their response is, and then I can respond to them right off of my cell phone. I had a gal call me last night with this thing, and I got her set up over to my lender, Casey, to get this lady approved. I didn't have to do the follow-up. That's the cool part about Agent Legend. They do all the follow-up for you. It's like literally mining, like in the rivers for gold, sifting around. Just have the gold nuggets just fall into your lap. Would you rather follow up with 57 people, or would you rather just talk to 8 people like I have who want to do something? I'll take the 8, please. And we talk about freeing up your time. So for Mojo, what I would do is I do circle prospecting, and if they are interested and they're just curious, just make sure they're on the drip system and keep reaching out to them so you stay top of mind. You can maybe send them a send-out card. There's a lot of things that you can do to stay top of mind and not just relying just on the Mojo calling system.
Right. Well, and just curious, what's the follow-ups that Agent Legend is taking care of for it? What's the top of the funnel? Are they coming in through a home search? Through your website, Google AdWords.
So it's Facebook ads. Okay. A gentleman, that guy named Gus, who is running the ads for me. Guys, I'll tell you right now, he's not the cheapest guy on planet Earth at all. But it is hands down the best online leads I have ever seen. Matt, we usually talk about it takes about 33 online leads to get one good lead, right? We're seeing about 1 in 10 with his. Okay. If you guys are a larger team or a smaller brokerage or something like that, reach out to me. I'll connect you with him. You guys can figure out, what you want to do. He's generally $5,000 a month. I got him significantly down from that, so it's a much more affordable deal for the people I introduce him to. But I'll tell you one thing, dude, they are epically awesome stuff. Or if you guys are just individual agents and you want to split it with 5 other people in your area, I have over 115 leads in 3 weeks. They're really good leads that we're following up on, and we have like 15 or 20 of them out for pre-approval, both to our Spanish-speaking lender and to Casey, our English-speaking lender. It's awesome, dude. It is awesome stuff.
Yeah, well, let's talk about kind of where things are going a little bit, because that's a good introduction to the conversation. Because I think, like, the holy grail to me is the ability to take people that have registered online, whether it's for their home value or to search for a home, and rather than have to have somebody get on the phone with them within 30 seconds to a minute and a half, like the company Rockerbox that I was on another podcast with earlier today. That's what they do, right? And that's what's working right now for the most part with lead conversion, is getting people on the phone, right? Mm-hmm. The idea, though, the reason I think why we have to get these people on the phone is because, Greg, like you've talked about before, what we call a lead is really just a respondent, right? Mm-hmm. So they've expressed interest, they get a wild hair, and they go to a website and they put in their contact information, right? There's not a lot of intent necessarily, especially on Facebook, where you may be catching them when they're really not searching for a home necessarily. They're on Facebook, right? You're getting them in an area where they haven't really gone out and specifically searched for your company or for something that, for buying a home or essentially doing what you sell. So there's not a lot of search intent there. So for me, what I've been really carefully kind of looking out for, and I think the next step in this whole thing is somebody, and maybe Agent Legend has done it, I don't know, that remains to be seen, but I feel like somebody is going to come up with a way to kind of filter out the people that are just respondents and make them jump through a couple of other hoops, whether it's by offering to give them some additional content or, tightening up kind of the registration process or whatever the case is, but putting them through a funnel that weeds out the people who really aren't serious and kind of narrows down, right? Instead of us talking to 99 people for every lead we get, maybe we're only talking to 30 people or 10 people, like you said. And so that's what I'm really interested to see if Agent Legend has done that. But even if it doesn't quite turn out that way, I feel like somebody's going to crack that at some point. It's just a matter of time. I was talking with Michael Reese here a while back, and he's looking at it from the angle of using chatbots, right? So when you get somebody that responds off of Facebook, rather than sending them over to a landing page, you would send them into a chatbot where they can interact with somebody up until the point where they need an agent to step in and start chatting and then get them on the phone, right? Like all this leads to a call. Like somebody's got to talk to somebody over the phone or in person. But I think if we put them through, that kind of a system where there's chatbot or text like you have, Greg, with Agent Legend with the combination of voicemails and text, maybe that will do it. But I think that's one of the next things for everybody to watch out for is narrowing down that funnel and making people jump through some hoops before they have to get to an agent so that we're not spending all of our time talking to the 99 people who aren't really doing something right now to get to that one person who is, if that makes sense. So that's my thoughts right now on kind of where things are going.
Yeah, no, it totally is. And I think like for me, I love doing real estate, but I epically hate the follow-up. I mean, it grinds on me. It's just not my personality. I'm not in a groove. I'm not in my flow with that. And so Agent Legend does do that. It is the filter. Like, so it does the 3 days of follow-up right off the bat, right? So what they do is they do an immediate voicemail. They sign up, bam, it flows into their voice message that I called them right then with a message that I pre-recorded. 10 minutes later, I send an email. Air quotes. 15 minutes later, I send an SMS message to them. Day 2, again, another filter. I send a second voice SMS message to them at 9 a.m. Third day, 9 a.m. starts. I do a voicemail, again, a different one. Then I do an email, and then I do a text. And then it goes into a long-term nurture of kind of where they're going to go. So you don't have to have that, like talking to 99 people to get one person. It's the fact that I have 59 people in my filter right now. And you can upload old prospects, guys. You can do a lot of different things into the system. And it will just drop out to me what I want. So like I said, with my people in here, with this, no, I got another lead. I have 60 people and 58 of them have been contacted. 10 of them have now responded. I now have a 17% response rate. So I just got even a higher response rate since we've been on the show. And this is what happens on a daily basis. This thing fires away, and it's super awesome. You can get this thing for teams. You can get this thing for individual agents. It's $200, guys, $200 a month, and you can do a single agent, and it has a discount as it goes up. But I mean, it's just like kick me in the nuts, and I'll say thank you. Can I have another one? I will take this.
All right, so Rob St. John has a good question I want to cover. So Rob says, so do you see value in leveraging ad management? In other words, Rob's asking, like, do you see value in paying somebody to manage your ad spend? And
100%.
Well, yeah, I mean, the bottom line is it's way better to pay someone than to do it yourself. However, I will pass along what Jeff Cohn said on a recent podcast, and he's going to be the guest on our Friday show, I believe. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, so Jeff pointed out that like you as the Rainmaker agent, like your time is not best spent following up with online leads, he believes. If you have a sphere, if you can do direct prospecting to expireds and FSBOs, which Greg, there's like no expireds in your market, but if you're in a market that does have those, your time is much better spent there. Where you really want to, and Rob, to answer your question, Jeff Cohn would tell you the only reason to spend on ad management is if you are generating leads, and the only reason to generate online leads is if you're building a team. And those agents on your team aren't self-sufficient enough to go after their own sphere and to pick up the phone and do expired calls yet. Right? The goal is to get them there, but in the meantime, you want that third pillar so that they have leads to call and get their feet wet and kind of get people in the pipeline. It's going to take a while. I mean, we know from Jeff Cohn's team of 30 plus agents over the last few years and literally 100,000 phone calls made, that it takes 150 calls, I believe. Yeah, it's 150 calls for every deal, and that's across all types of calls. So it doesn't matter whether it's cold prospecting or warm calls to your database. Just when you throw it all into the hopper and you just say, how many calls did we make and how many deals popped out the other end? For them, it's like every 150 calls turns into a deal. And so, and part of that is because a big portion of theirs is spent, calling online leads. And so that is something to keep in mind. So unless you're in a position like Greg, where Greg, you're supplementing your direct prospecting and your database with that third leg, and you're paying a company to manage the ads, and you're paying a company to narrow down the leads that you get so that you're not wasting your time with the 99 people who aren't interested. Like, that's the only way I would recommend somebody, if you're an individual rainmaker, to jump into online leads, is to do it the way Greg's doing it.
Yeah. And Matt, I want you to read Joshua's question. I think this is a fantastic question, and read it in entirety, please.
Yes, sir. Joshua Lawrence Weiner. We're not really sure. If we have mispronounced your name, we apologize. So it says,
we say Matt mispronounced it. I did not. I know the proper pronunciation.
Sure. So it says, just getting started part-time. I have a wife and 3 obese wood-denting boys who depend on me financially. What would you recommend is the best use of 3 to 5 hours during the week? Concentrate on lead gen type per day. I think he gives a couple examples: 1 day knocking, 1 day calling, a little of each day. Which would you recommend? Greg, let's start with you. 5 hours a day. You got to generate leads. You're just getting started part-time. What would you do?
Okay. We don't have a financial model backing him, so I don't understand what his budget is, which I wish we did. But I'm going to make that based on the assumption that we're going to have a very low budget, because he has 3 little wood denting, incense suckling little troll babies. So here's what I would do. I would probably go sign up. I'd probably go sign up for Rockstar Connect. I would do a networking event on a monthly basis. I would probably go out and sign up for Coop Out. When you're out, socializing, go out to the local businesses, and I would create coupons for the local businesses, run those on Facebook for $5 to $10 per coupon, build the goodwill there, be able to create a name around town for your event. So those would be one-off things. You could spend an hour or 2 a day doing the Coop Out, and then one day a month doing the networking event. I would potentially then get on and I would do Facebook Lives on a consistent basis. Grow your Facebook as much as you possibly can, so you can get your notoriety out there. You can go to realtytimes.com, go to the consumer advice I've talked about 1,000 times. Go get an article. There's 6 different subtopics. Grab one every day for 6 days a week. Don't read the article, but read it and then regurgitate it back out. So you'll get smarter in the business, and you can bring value and knowledge to your industry. At the same time, I would probably take advantage of director.youtube.com, sign up for YouTube, have a YouTube certified videographer come out, shoot a professional video, 30-second video of you, start running YouTube videos, directing them back to a lead capture page, a squeeze page where you can capture their information about either buying or selling in the area. And then I would probably use a branding company, brand yourself across all platforms so that you are looking the same, feeling the same on every channel. And then spend your time probably doing about 2 hours of calls and about 2 hours of doors and hardcore prospecting on a daily basis in your farm area after you've identified what farm area you want to do. So you can be hitting YouTube for $350 a month for YouTube ads. You'll be doing Facebook Live, so you'll be growing a video platform. You'll be using Coop Out to be pushing on Facebook, pushing coupons out, bringing value to the community around you, bringing value to the local shop owners. doing a networking event so you can get to know the people in the community more often, and then door knock and call about your real estate and the networking event, and see if they want to get a coupon for their company that you can push out into the ether. The reason why I would do these is because they touch every platform you can possibly want right there, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel and do it every single day, every single hour. A lot of these will run automatically, just a little bit of an ad spend. And the guy who invented Coop Out said that, he invented because he found that every year, every business that he would run a coupon for, he would get about a lead every single year from each company. So if you have 20 or 30 or 40 people you're running ads for, that's potentially 20, 30, or 40 referrals you'll get without having to do the prospecting. So that was a pretty awesome marketing package, I would say, to get going. Thank you, Matt, for the compliment. I appreciate that.
I was going to say, I could just wax poetic on how wrong you are about everything, but actually I'm just going to dial back and change one thing about your marketing plan. The one thing I would say is that rather than going out and doing hardcore cold calls and door knocking quite yet, I would only do that if you have zero database. So if you're from that area, if you have lived in that area for any longer than, let's say, 6 months, I would focus first and foremost. I mean, I love the idea of going and signing up for Rockstar Connect. Absolutely get on Facebook Live. We've got training for that at rockstarlivevideo.com that shows you how to do that for free. And so you don't have to necessarily boost it right away, but you can start doing it, and so that everyone in your database knows, A, who you are, that you're professional, that you're busy, that you're knowledgeable, all that good stuff, that they need to know that. And if you've got that going on top, following that up with calls to them, telling them about the Rockstar Connect event, and then in the meantime, asking them out for coffee. I mean, that was one of the things that Jeff Cohn did when he first got into the business that worked like gangbusters for him, right? Just get everybody in your database, get them in person, tell them who you want to work with, offer to help keep an eye out for who they want to connect with. They're going to ask you who you want to connect with, and then you tell them who your ideal client is, and they will keep an eye out for you. So that's another way to kind of generate referrals, and those are much, I would say, a high percentage, more leveraged use of your time because the trust and credibility is already built. You're not building that from scratch, right? As opposed to when you're going into a neighborhood from scratch, you are building all that trust and credibility from, starting point zero. So those are my suggestions, but all those things are good that you talked about, Greg, and if you do it all in combination, it'll be awesome. I would just say before you go cold, make sure you hit the people who are closest to you first.
Yeah, Joshua said he's got about $1,000 a month. The only debt he has is his debt, is his mortgage. So what I would say, if you really want to take everything away Matt and I just said, if you just want to focus on just listings, you could go sign up for Bold Leads, because when you sign up for Bold Leads, I think they're like, I don't know, $300 or $400 a month or something like that for a zip code or whatever. That Bold Leads will drop a metric shit ton of leads into you. Then sign up for Agent Legend, get it set up for the auto filter, to filter out and just be talking to people who seriously want to talk about selling their home. And that could give you some serious good seller leads offline, if you wanted to go that direction as well. But I mean, go back and rewind this, take it apart, take what you like and then put it into action. And I think you'll be very, very successful because as Matt has browbeat me multiple times on this show for the last 3 years that I don't have a system based, I am personnel based. When it comes to follow-up, Matt, dude, actually, Eileen and I were laughing our asses off because, dude, yesterday, she and I are on point. Like, we're going to follow up. And that email comes in, we vox for each other. We're like, all right, did you get it? No, okay, I'll get it. And we're following up with it. And Eileen hits me up and goes, dude, okay, another lead just came in. What do we do? I'm like, the one time we're actually on point and we have to let the system run. And so we're like, damn it. But it was actually way easier. I'll tell you one thing: it's way easier to let the systems run. So yeah, Josh, that was a damn good question. I like that question.
I do too. And Neely, who is watching right now, has a suggestion. She's been through exactly what Josh has been through. She was married and working in real estate part-time, working in healthcare full-time, and getting her career started. And you did a call with her and gave her some suggestions. So here's what Neely has to say: mail out cheap intro letters to your sphere. Think wedding list, and that is a great way to quickly narrow down who your sphere is and who's valuable enough to get the time and attention it takes to send them a personal letter, or even just a cheap intro letter. Is who would you put on your wedding invitation list, right? So send those letters, let them know that you're starting a new career, let them know how they can reach you, include something valuable about the current market so that it hits the personal part and it hits the side of the business where they can see that you're actually, knowledgeable and know what you're talking about. So all good suggestions. When I first got in years ago, that's what my business partner did. He was from the area, went to school, went to high school, went to college in Omaha, Nebraska, was a Husker the whole 9 yards. So when he sat down to write out his database and put his mailing list together, he came up with 1,500 freaking people to mail. That was a lot of envelopes to stuff, let me tell you.
Did you? Oh, yeah, you did that, huh? Huh.
Yep.
Oh,
hand stuffed them.
So check this out, Matt. You know what people could actually do, and you don't have to hand stuff anything anymore? If you have that list of people, you can upload it into send-out cards, and then you can literally do a mass mailing to all the people with the same card like that. You don't have to do the stuffings anymore. So
I like it.
There's another
Which is good.
idea.
I like send-out cards as a handwritten font because it actually looks better than my actual handwriting, which is nearly illegible, as anyone who has looked over my shoulder while I'm taking notes can tell you.
Because when you're writing, Matt, if you ever look at his notes, he writes so small. I mean, it's like you need like a magnifying glass. Like, what is that? An A or a P? You know, what I mean, it's like microfiche. That's why it's hard to read.
Exactly. And then I have I get exhausted. From years of playing drums and stuff. I have some, I don't know if you call it carpal tunnel, but I get sore from writing faster. So about 3/4 of a page in, it goes from actually looking halfway decent to looking like a drunk 7-year-old writing, trying to write small, but totally incapable of forming actual English letters. So that's my handwriting.
Dude, I just look like I have chicken scratch / dyslexic writing. I call it Gregism, and I'm like, I can understand it, but I'm pretty sure no one else is going to.
Yes. Well, you got that very, very well from the Grandmaster.
Yeah, he has doctor writing all over the place. You're like, even like when he writes me birthday cards, I'll be like, Mom, what did he say? She's like, hold on, let me read this. She'll decipher it.
That's awesome. It says, I love you, Greg. Now shut up and go away.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. So there's another question here that actually feeds into what we're talking about with Joshua because it goes back to door knocking. So Dale Shin says, how often should I door knock my farm area? I just finished covering the entire area twice now, and I'm planning to start over, but wanted to see what others suggest. So, Greg, you've done this a ton. You've got a bunch of different neighborhoods around your office that you guys have farmed for, decades, essentially. How often would you like to? How often do you guys actually hit those neighborhoods?
I'm going door knocking today, man. I got my shorts on. I got my shirt on. I'm ready to go, hoof it out there. I'm actually really looking forward. I'm pumped. So it really depends on how often you hit it. So, I would do it about once a month. Once every other week is a little much, and it's definitely overkill. I'd say once a month, once every other month, depending on your turnover rate. But judge it from there, and always bring out something new and interesting to have and talk about. So that goes back to the coop out. If you don't use coop out, but you can go to different stores and get a coupon that they're offering, and it can be a coupon that they're already offering. It doesn't have to be special. Get your market update or whatever information on the front of the sheet. On the back of the sheet, it's 50% of the real estate. Put that coupon on the back, and you're able to then offer that out as something of interesting. So you're not just the guy or the gal door knocking. You're also you're the candy man or the candy woman. You're always bringing something cool that they can then either throw away as soon as you leave, or take down and enjoy. Like buy one get one free ice cream cones, a 25% off steak rib, a steakhouse. $10 off a lunch, place, whatever it is. But it's something different consistently, so they look forward to seeing you. So that's what I would say. About once a month, bring something new, and be there and have some fun and talk to some folks. That's what I would do.
Cool. All right, so this is a really interesting marketing question that caught my eye. This is from Terry Ayers on the Lead Gen Scripts group. Got my first luxury listing in Arizona, and he honestly believes it's going to be a snowbird or an out-of-state buyer who ends up buying this property. So that's what he feels like is the ideal kind of demographic. So what are some good sites or places to post my listing to market to potential out-of-state buyers? And I've got a couple of ideas for him. Greg, what would you recommend?
No, you go first.
So the first one, I think, if I remember, it's called Proxio. I think if we ran into the CEO or the VP or something at an event a couple of years ago, and Proxio basically is exactly like that. It allows you to market luxury or high-end properties to a bigger audience, I think both around the country and they do some international marketing as well. So they have I think they have a Chinese language site and stuff like that. So if I remember right, and I don't remember their exact value proposition, but I know that that's definitely something to check out. And I know that it's not just like a startup that we ran into, because I remember one of the clients, if not more than that, at least one of the top agent clients I used to deal with at Viral Marketing used Proxio for their listings. Right. So all of their higher end listings went on Proxio. So that's the first one. The second one is going back to paying for ad management. That's when I would definitely, absolutely start running Facebook ads. Is if you have a high-end property and you honestly believe that it's going to be a high-end net worth, high net worth person in another state who's going to buy that property, then I think the best way at this point to reach them, besides actually picking up the phone and calling your network of agents in those areas, is to run Facebook ads that are demographically targeted at high net worth homeowners and investors in the other states that you think are likely. So what's interesting, I was talking to a gal, Greg, who watches the show, and we're kind of chatting behind the scenes about her podcast that she's looking to launch. And she mentioned that from her city in Canada, which is straight up the Rockies, a lot of those people
Canada's
have.
North?
Yes.
Is that where Canada's north? Oh, fuck, I've been getting that wrong for years.
I know. Well, you've been driving south and you keep hitting Mexico. I keep telling you wrong. But
well, those Rocky Mountains are going to be a lot rockier, man. That John Denver's full of shit.
That's right. John Denver. All right. So what she was saying is that there's a pipeline from her city, her area of Canada, down to Arizona. Right. And we know that there's a couple more of those. I've heard examples of people in the Rust Belt, like Ohio and Pennsylvania. There's a pipeline from there to Florida. There's just places where there's pockets of cold climate people that tend to buy their vacation or second homes or retirement homes in specific areas. Talk to agents and figure out where those areas are. So if you're in Arizona, talk to agents around the country at events and figure out what are those pockets around the country that tend to buy in Arizona versus going to, let's say, Southern California, right? Because those are different people. So the people that are living in that part of Canada are buying in Arizona. They're not buying in Southern California, right? So if you can narrow some of those things down, that'll give you a better idea of, number one, where to run your Facebook ads, and then also where to reach out to other agents to tell them about this property and let them know that you want to exchange referrals, because seems to be a back and forth pipeline between their area and your area. So that's my contribution on it.
Yeah, I'm going to pretty much agree with you, which is rare and far between, but I think both those are good suggestions. I would absolutely agree with the Facebook ads immediately. That's when you put some money behind this. Second off, I would go to the director.youtube.com. I would have someone come and make an ad for you, and then push that ad specifically into those marketplaces, because with the director.youtube, they will help you. Someone will come in and help you with your ad management account. So they will help push it to the only people that want to see it. So you can hit them on Facebook, and you can hit them on YouTube, push them to a squeeze page where they can register or get more information about the property or properties or you or whatever else it's going to be. Matt, I think some of the times I would have them go into Facebook groups and get permission from the admin if you can post about the property to help boost it on the social media side within groups and within pages. But be careful when you do that, guys. If you're going to do that, go to the admin, get their permission, or they will block you or ban you on some groups. But just play by the rules, and there'll be groups that will allow you. There'll be groups that won't. But just get their permission and do that as well, and potentially build a relationship with them. But yeah,
actually, now that I think about it, one of the good ones. So Aaron's got a side group off of the lead gen scripts and objections group, which is huge. I mean, it's almost 50,000 people. There is a smaller group that's specifically based around referrals. I think it's called LGSO referrals or something like that. That's at 3,000. That's probably a good area to post in, and not just post about the house, for the love of God. Like Greg said, first of all, get permission before you post anything like that. But it'd be more of doing what I was talking about, where you figure out hey, I've got a property, like a luxury property in a certain part of Arizona. Hey, agents around the country, where are those areas where people are looking to go to Arizona to buy their vacation or their retirement homes, and how can we, where can we network together to kind of connect those two areas? If we know that our clients in your area in Cleveland are looking to get to Florida, where are those other areas where they're looking to go to Arizona? Is it Denver? Is it Washington? Is it Minnesota? And just find out and network with people and find out what those areas are. And that would be a potentially good group to go be a part of to do something like that.
Some of the way that kind of pops up in my mind, we don't really talk about this other group, but lab coat agents, they have a lab coat agents referral, and that's about 20,000 strong there. That would be a good place to market it as well. But I mean, you guys will find the groups that resonate with you. So go find what tribe resonates with you and go and just get that out there. So that's another free option. God, I'm trying to just to think of what else you could do. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, there's pricier things. You could buy, radio ads, TV ads. You could buy all kinds of stuff out there, but I don't think that's going to be worth the while. I mean, you could hire someone like Gene or Nick Sakis or a couple of other guys that are big in media, and they could put together a custom package for you to browbeat people in specific marketplaces. If you don't know where the buyers are coming from, a good idea would be to go back and look at the last 6 months of all the homes closed, or maybe it's the last month. Who knows how many are there? Go either pop by or get the phone number of the new buyer and just let them know who you are and say, hey, look, I'm not soliciting your business. I'm just trying to take a census of where people are moving from. So did you guys move from in town, or did you guys move from out of town? And then start piecing this together and where people are coming from. Then you can blast these ads or messages out to all kinds of people just by getting to know these other folks. And by the way, guys, I know this is not the kosher thing to say, but look, all of us really suck at staying up with our clients. And yes, Gail, I know you're here. You do not fall in this category, okay? Hashtag BFF. What I want to say is, here, guys, have you ever heard of the orphan program? The orphan program is all those buyers that all of us, agents forget about because they think they're gonna call us when it's time to sell, when they're not. I think it was 83% of the people, 88% of all the clients that worked with someone said they'd use the agent again. Only 11% of them actually do because there's zero follow-up. But this might be a good opportunity to start the orphan program early on. And you can also set these people up with a, hey, congratulations, you can do an anniversary card or call or whatever else on the date of their purchase of their home, if you could stay in front of them. That's kind of some ninja shit right there that you can get right in and start working on a long-term play with folks. I mean, Bob Wolf does that. He doesn't contact the people he just bought. He calls his people every day and says, hey, congratulations, it's been another year. How's life? And he did $1.7 million in GCI in Q3 of 17. So there's a lot of things you can do there.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And Ramon comments, he says he just hired Nick Sakis, which is awesome. Nick is the man. And Gail says, LOL, hashtag BFF, hashtag recognize. Gail, that's hilarious. Oh, man. Okay, guys, let's start winding down. Greg, people should reach out to you for something. I don't know. There's something we have going on, I think, while we've been talking about it for, I don't know. Maybe they should schedule a call with you about something?
Yes, free hugs.
Free hugs.
Bring it in, Bubba. Free hug day. Call me for free hugs. Hashtag Greg loves you. So I don't know if I'm on this hashtag thing. But, guys, what I want you to do is reach out to me. Go to Greg McDaniel. Hashtag.
I'm just going to start a hashtag campaign, just the pound sign and then the word hashtag. Let's make that trend just to make fun of it. Hashtag.
Okay, let's do that. Someone do that. Let's roll with this. Okay, guys, so this is what we're going to do. Go to bookmcdaniel.com. I want you guys to go and register, get 30 minutes of time with me. Let's talk about EXP. Let's talk about making that move. Let's talk and see if this is something that's going to be a value add for you. There is a lot that can be added in on top of what EXP already has, and I'll explain that to you. We have 2 masterminds, all of our products now and in the future for free. You're going to be, Matt's going to give you a podcasting platform for free, which is usually $1,000 to the people who want to recruit. I'm going to work, actively to work out the kinks, in transitioning over to EXP. I also want to put 50 people plus onto your team over the next 5 years or less. There's, Q&A calls with me and Matt. There's just live coaching with me. Because Matt, do you know that this is the week where my McDaniel Challenge ends? After 2.5 years of running, every single night I've been coaching someone from around the world. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Dos more calls.
Dos.
And I'm vámonos. But my Spanish is getting muy great. Yes. Every Spanish speaker is just like, God, that gringo sucks.
Exactly.
But the thing is that now I'm going to reserve those times for people on my ultimate downline, my rev share tree. There'll be a private link that will be shared, and you guys can book an hour call with me. And fuck, I don't care. You can book an hour every night with me. I don't give a shit. If it's not taken, you guys can have it. To work out issues, get personal coaching. Don't abuse it, you assholes. But I mean, have fun with it, and we can work through issues. I'm not going to sit there awkwardly and not speak for an hour like, so what's new? Yeah, had a good day yesterday? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good show the other day.
just booking time with you to shoot the shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So none of that.
None of that. Educational time only. But yeah, bookmcdaniel.com. Come on to our team, guys. Bring it in, Bubba. Let's have a group hug. Let's make it happen. Matt and I are taking this thing internationally. We're going big with it. I want you on the train with us. So get on it. I'm deadly serious about it. And I'm talking directly to you, Stevie Hahn. No, she's probably, what the fuck? But join me, guys. Join me and Matt on our party train to Financial Freedom Bill.
Yes,
with
that's right.
Hashtag Book McDaniel.
All right.
Financial
Sounds
Freedom Bill.
great. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little awkward. All right, guys. So make sure to do that. And then for the show, just want to thank you for sharing it. We appreciate it. You can also subscribe at iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube, depending on whether you want the audio or video versions. And holy cow, I just seen a comment from Josh that is so long, I don't even know that I will be able to read it. And Stevie says that legit scared her. All right, guys. Let's put a nice little bow on this one, Greg. We've talked about everything we want to talk about. We have no more questions for today. We'll see if we can maybe circle back around to Josh's question and respond in the comments, guys. So if there's anything that we did not get to on the show, comment here on Facebook. You can also just reach us directly. You can follow us on Facebook, and you can reach out by private message. And we'll try to get you everything that you need, every resource that you need to be successful. So with that said, Gregory, shall we wrap things up?
Oh my God, Josh. Bullet points, homie. I mean, that's a long ass question. I like where it's going, but Matt has got a point there. We cannot read that thing. That is a half a novel. But we'll get back to you on it. PM me, Josh, and we'll do it off air. Matt, what are you going to put on this show?
We're going to put a bow on it, Greg.
I love bows. All right, guys. I love you. We love you. And share this out with someone, guys. Help us grow this show a little bit. Help us help everyone else around what's going on out in the open marketplace. And, yeah, as always, guys, peace out, ninjas. We gone.